Very important. If we look here at the 1 hour chart, we can see that push coming very aggressively. If we look at the 4 hour chart, we can see it coming up even aggressively, even more. Remember, this low, this red zone here is the same zone that I drew here on the 15-minute chart, showing this supported area here. We're now breaking through the supported area, so we'll see a breakout rally here on the USD CHF coming in play right now. Okay, so hopefully you guys can hear me now. What I was saying was about the sessions. The brown, green, and blue sessions indicate Asian, London, and New York. As you see right now, that red zone that I drew going across the middle of our screen indicates support from Friday's New York session over here, Friday's New York session, Monday's Asian session, Monday's London session, Monday's New York session. Now here, notice how through the Asian and London session, the sellers were trapped. Sellers were tricked into thinking that it was a downtrend, but now here in the New York session, which the USD CHF is a New York based pair. So in the New York session or the US session, it'll have the most volatility or the most truest movement. Here we see that we are breaking this downward trend formed in the Asian and London session. Okay, USD CHF again is a USD pair. So it's more likely to make its true move during the New York session. We're in the New York session, and notice how that downwards trend from Asia and London was quickly taken out. Okay, so now all sellers that were on the USD CHF are in trouble if they do not close out that trade. They will be in for a margin call or a potentially blown account. Okay, the market for the USD CHF is now bullish. So any of these bearish sellers that got caught in the earlier sessions that did not close and take their profits are about to get ran for a margin call. USD CHF, I went ahead and exited out of there, took profit on that little small drop, got about 10 pips out of there. So I'm no longer in the USD CAD, no longer in that. I'm only focused on the USD CHF at this time. Hopefully you guys can hear me now. Mic check, mic check. Hopefully you guys can hear me now. So as we see right now, take a look at this USD CHF going through its breakout of this zone here. Oh, okay, breakout of this zone here that formed all the way from Friday's New York session. Asian session found support there. London session and the New York found support there yesterday. Today we're breaking out. Hopefully everybody sees that. Can you guys see this breakout happening here on the USD CHF coming from the support low that was formed in New York session on Friday? Euro USD, here's the sell I was referring to on the Euro USD. Notice again, the US session is the most volatile for the US dollar, okay? So looking at this, if we look at this green box, in the London session, the euro was gaining on the dollar, okay? We see that. The euro was gaining on the dollar in the US, in the London session. Look how quickly price came back once the New York session started. Okay, why is that? That's simply because the New York session holds the volume and the strength for the US dollar. So there was not much US dollar strength here to combat the euro. But when the New York session opened, it was nothing but strength. Okay, notice here, US session, Euro USD down. US session, USD CHF up. Okay, guys, take that into highly consideration when you guys are analyzing and looking for trades to enter the market. You must verify the currency pair and the session that you are trading in. That's a must, mandatory. All right. So this next hour should be very explosive for our dollar. Okay, real quick, just looking at this USD CHF, this 15-minute pattern that's formed right here. We can take our Fibonacci and go from this swing down here to this, the close of this swing, and we have new points placed up here. Notice how our TP still falls right there on TP7, right up in this area. So we'll see this activity, we'll see this movement play out over the course of this next hour here. All right, I'm gonna move this zone out of the way, and I want to show you how this price action is forming here on this 15-minute chart. I'm gonna remove all of these sessions here. Okay. So let's look closely at the current 15-minute candle that's forming now. I'm gonna remove this fibs, and all I'm gonna do is hit the low and the high. Okay, I hit the low and the high of this last 15-minute candle right here. Okay, 30-minute candle. Looking at this 30-minute price action, we should definitely come fill this zone within this 30-minute candle. So by 11:30 we should be here. We'll write that down. We'll take a mental note of that. At 11:30 we should be up here in this red zone. Okay, that's just for a mental. Keep that in your mental. Now, if we look here at the 5-minute chart, still looking at the high and low of that last 15-minute candle that we know is indicated by horizontal lines. Okay, I'm gonna refresh your memory. 15-minute candle, high, low, also marked by these red zones. Now, if we look in here, we can see that price action has met its bottom at the low of this 15-minute candle and is now beginning to push back up. We can draw a trend line from there to there. And we have a trend line. And we have the trend line. Notice that this is multiple confluences. We have a trend line bounce. We have a support line bounce. We have a 15-minute test in the low. We have a 1 hour candle that is definitely doing the same. Should be closing near the high end of this red zone up in here to fill the last hour of this wick. So now, based on our analysis and our chart movement, we're in our trade. And from here, we watch it play out. Now we have 2 hours, as you see, an hour and 42 minutes before this 4-hour candle closes. And when this 4-hour candle does close, I expect us to be here. Okay, the reason I got out of because look at this price action. This price action here is showing that we still have a little bit more room to come up and show it. So if we start to show resistance here, will likely be prepared to sell that tomorrow. It's too late, in my opinion, in the session today to be looking for a setup on the UCAD. So it got out of the UCAD, but the USD CHF is still in is still active. Mind you, our key points for reversal in a 15-minute candle. So with it dipping like this, you can kind of prepare another entry for one of the next coming 15-minute candles. A lot of times I see the best entries coming on that 45-minute candle or that 30-minute candle. Also, if anybody has a binary account, I'm taking an hour binary on USD CAD as well. I mean USD CHF, sorry. All right, give me just a second. I'm getting ready to roll up a doobie. Hey, Mert, how about now? Can you hear me? Hey, Mert, can you hear me now? All right, guys. Those who aren't already, it's safe to take that position on the USD CHF. If you're not in already, it's safe to take that long position on USD CHF. All right, here we go. We're finna take a ride on the USD CHF. Hopefully everybody's buckled up. Gonna grab our 50 pips and call it a day. Got 10 off UCAD, so I got 10 there. So really, I'm only seeking 40 more pips. But I believe we'll get all of those here on the USD CHF. Now, as you see, I have in 4 positions. So technically, I only need 10 pips each on all I need is a 10 pip move here on the USD CHF to get my 40 pips. Plus the 10 from UCAD gives me 50 pips for the day. So if I get 40 pips out of this move with four trades in, that is essentially 160 pips on the day. Okay, guys? That's how you manage your risk and scale in. You don't want to compound losing entries, okay? You compound winning entries. If you compound losing entries and you lose 10 pips and you have 4 entries, that's 40 pips gone. 90 pips to get you'll need 90 pips to get back your 50 for the day. Does that make sense to everybody? Everybody understand that if you do take multiple positions, make sure it's a winning trade and not a losing trade, or you'll be really hurt. It's okay to take losses because at the end of the day, we want profitable days. Okay, we don't necessarily need to win every single trade, but we do need to end each day profitable. Even if your day is only plus $1, it's not negative $1, so it's a positive day. Anybody got any questions about anything or any pair that they want me to walk over real quick? Now, as far as the trade, the only trade I'm in is the USD CHF, but I will review or analyze any trade that anybody else is particularly in if they are in anything else. Oh, to read pips, you just pay attention to the numbers on the right hand side. Just count the last two. Every 10 is a 1 pip. Every 1 is 1 micro pip. So count the far digits by in tens, increments of 10. Every 10 is 1 pip. So as of right now, we're at 749. So 49 to 759 is 1 pip. We're looking over here on the left. 75 to 76 is 1 pip. So in distance, 751 to 761. This is one complete pip. Okay, this is 1 pip. This is 2 pips. This is 3 pips. So 772 to 751 is 2 pips. 21 micros, 2 pips. Remember, every 10 is 1 pip. Okay, Aussie USD. Okay, good deal. We're really locked in here on USD CHF. Nothing more we can do except sit back and observe the pips as they move in our favor. So I'll go ahead and take a look at Aussie USD now. Aussie USD should be in a downtrend considering it's against the dollar, and the dollar is very strong right now. So I already know we should be on. If you're in the Aussie USD, you should be on a sell. I scalped about 10 pips of that sale earlier to this morning. But just to go ahead and knock this out, we'll go ahead and look at our 20-year distance. Just at a glance, we can see that there was an uptrend here. Now, if you look here, this uptrend was taken out here with this downward move. The trend line was broken here. Okay, so if we pull out our fibs, go from our all-time low or our 20-year low to 20-year high, we have these points placed out for us. We have those points placed out for us here. Now, if we come in here and look a little closer at this downtrend here, then we can come here to the weekly. Now zoom out. This is where we know that trend line was here. The peak that broke that trend line is here. So now if we come in here and look even closer at the weekly, we see a low here. Pop that off. We can now we come in here to the daily, and we can see this particular action happening here. Now, what can we see here? We can see price has met resistance. From looking at the higher time frame, we know we're in a downtrend because we broke that trend line here. So we could potentially be seeking this zone here. Okay, now mind you, I'm using structure, nothing but structure when you're doing your top-down analysis. Pay attention to structure, trend, and your highs and lows. All right, now I'm going back to the daily chart. Here on the daily chart, as you can see, let's look at the price action. High of this candle, low of this candle. This is a Aussie USD, so this pair would be strongest during the Tokyo Asian session. For the Australian dollar, it'll be strongest for the USD during the New York session. If we come in here and look at what's happened in the New York session. We know the New York session started about right here when the London session ended, and for the complete time of the New York session, we have been in a downtrend on the Aussie USD. So, Mert, does that answer your question here for the Aussie USD? I mean, Trip, I think that was Trip. Yeah, Trip. How's that go for your Aussie USD? All right, so we should definitely be still considering down. Now, looking at this 30-minute chart, considering that we do have a swing formation right in our face, we can pull out our Fibonacci, go from this low to this high. Now we have a series of targets in play for us on the Aussie USD. All right. This is the 30-minute chart where I drew the Fibonacci. This is the 4-hour and the daily where we look to end the Fibonacci at one of these TPs. If we look to the left, we can see structure here, which falls right on TP7. We can see structure here with a slight gap that falls right at TP9. All right, let's go back to the, here we go with the USD CHF. You see we've gained 5 pips in the past 3 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a long ride here on this USD CHF. Hope you guys are buckled in and bullish. USDC, okay, now. Okay, let's take a look at, somebody just said CHFJPY. Now, on CHFJPY, just at a glance, CHFJPY should be very bearish or turning bearish. Here we see that it has been bearish all of New York session. We see Asian session, it was in a range. London session, we spiked to the high. Notice that this is yesterday's high. Yesterday's high. New York session, falling down. Just like that. 3 sessions, 3 potential directions, 3 potential reversals, 3 potential areas of breakouts and consolidation every day. Asian, London, New York. This is why I exited out of that UCAD. As you see, we're still retesting today's high, which is also yesterday's high, as well as Friday's high, which is likely just a retest and trapping volume up here for buyers on the long side. Tomorrow, I am still highly confident that we should see a sell-off on the USD CAD. Looking here at the weekly. You look here at the weekly based on this price action. Let's move these. Okay, here we have the high, and here we have the low of last week. If we look here at the daily, as you see, it's been in a range for that entire week. Okay, we can see that it's been in the range for the entire week. Okay, we see we've been in the range with a untested low. We come into the monthly. Look at what we have. We have a cross on the moving averages as well as a retest up in here. We can also pull the Fibonacci, and let's take a look. We should be right at the retrace or expert entry here forming by tomorrow. Right in here is going to be our sell zone for tomorrow on the UCAD. So the signal, the alert is still valid. It's just not time to take advantage of that alert yet. Remember, even with the alerts, we still have to wait for price action and timing to go in our favor. The alert in the zone is still valid. The price action and pattern has not caught up with the structure yet. And that, my friends, is how I break down the charts. Here goes the USD CHF. Yeah, we're riding. We're finna go for a ride. I'm expecting this 4-hour candle here to be to completely engulf there and hit our TPs. Today's day 5 of the compound. We are on trade number 4, day 5. So, guys, as you see, we are ahead of the game, and we are definitely on track to complete this compound. So all we have to do is stay focused over the next 55 to 60 days, and we will complete and walk away victorious. And also, I want to reiterate the fact that I only trade few pairs. I don't trade every pair in the market. I only trade few of them because you do not need every pair in the market to be profitable or successful. You can literally make a living trading one currency pair. My TP here on USD CHF is at 91.1. I mean 97.1. I have a TP at 97.1, and I also have a TP at 97.550. This is 550. This is 97.1. So I have 2 TPs. The highest TP is for my lowest entry. This TP here are for the entries that are in between. I also took that hour long binary on USD CHF, so I'm definitely deep in profit there. With the binaries, I really focus on only trading 1 hours at a time. So I find a good hour, a good bullish or bearish hour setup, and I take it for that hour. Now, if you don't mind, I'm going to go ahead and spark this gasoline. For today's strand, we have snow days. All right, next month I'll also be incorporating live cannabis reviews with these live sessions. So it's definitely going to get more and more exciting every day as we move forward in 2020. Here's the USD CAD. Again, we are at yesterday's high. If you notice, this high has held for the past week. This red zone here. We've been ranging in this red zone on the USD CAD for a week. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 days straight. We have been ranging between 1.303 and 1.307. That's a 40 pip range, which means the breakout movement will be 2 to 3 times the range. Okay, you might ask me, what do I mean? What I mean by that is when you see a long range like this, the breakout will likely be 2 to 3 times the range of the range of that consolidation. So with this consolidation at 40 pips, we can expect 80 pips to the upside or 80 pips to the downside. Considering the fact that we have not been to the upside in 2 months, we'll likely be coming to the downside to re-grab that volume before we go to the upside. So anywhere above 306, again, as posted in the alert, is a decent entry for this next move, in this breakout move. The breakout move on USD CAD will be down, bearish, at least 40 to 120 pips. That's 40, which is the range, or 2 to 3 times, which could be up to 80 or 112 pips. Okay, so looking at the time of the day and the area in which the pattern that this is forming at yesterday's high or the weekly highs range is telling me tomorrow should be an excellent opportunity to sell this UCAD. And now I'm back on the USD CHF. All right. Now, also looking here at USD, Euro USD, mind you, we're in the New York session. So between Euro and US, between the Euro and the USD in this session, in this blue box, this last blue box here, session box, we can see as we had across the board that the dollar has been very bullish, taking pairs against it down. Okay. Now in this situation, I can see a swing from here to here. All right, with a potential TP of this swing down here at ADR low. So with that being said, I'm going to drop a short-term sell here on the USD, Euro USD, to grab these 20 pips. From the entry to TP7, let's ride. That's the Euro USD short sell scalp for 20 pips. From 109 to 107. And notice it just crossed over the 15-minute candle. So I entered this candle at 11:31, but I was aiming for a minute candle here. So I was just a minute late. We can also see more. We come in here to the 1 minute. So I'm going to pull up the USD, CHF, and the Euro USD, the two trades that we currently have active. USD CHF really made its move for us. but definitely grabbing some great good pips there. All right. USD CHF is going to take an extreme boost in over these next 20 minutes, as well as Euro USD. Now, mind you, the reason I say that is because we're getting ready to enter the last hour of the 4 hour candle. And if you remember mentioning from previous videos that the movement will likely happen in that last hour of the 4 hour candle. So for these 4 hour candles, we currently have an hour and 22 minutes left. So we should see direct and aggressive straight movement to RTPs over the next hour and 22 minutes. Mind you, nothing I do is based on anything other than timing, price action, and the sessions. Every move I make is based on time and session. So that stop loss on EU, I threw it up there right at 10 right here. Let's see. 1109, but you can roughly put it at 1125. That is simply behind structure. Okay. So all I did to calculate this stop loss at a glance real quickly was I just simply moved my stop loss really behind Asian's high. The high of Asia is right here. All right. Notice how the high of Asia is right here, but also the supporting area for the Euro USD was here. That was the bounce move. Okay. Support becomes resistance, right? So if this was support, we broke through it here, then this is now resistance. So my stop loss is right behind resistance because I know if we break that resistance, then price is going further up. But if we respect this resistance, price is coming down. That makes sense for you guys on EU? How about it, Greg? That was good for EU? Let's get money. All right, guys. So we definitely gonna hit our goal again today. Day in, day out. All we need is our goals, and we good money. Like for example, today with the okay, now speaking of binary, for example, today with the forex, of course, we're in profit on these trades. But I've also won 13 different trades on binary options, totaling a total of $5,500. So that is the difference between forex and binary options. Binary options, you can definitely multiply your profits tenfold, but you have to be extremely accurate. So between me and you guys, on an average daily, between forex and binary options, I'm able to easily obtain five-figure profits every day. This is low risk trading. There's no sweat, no itchy seats, no nothing. We just getting money. I would wait for tomorrow for UCAD. I'd wait for tomorrow to enter UCAD. So wait for tomorrow New York session. Here's the USD CHF. Notice we jumped straight through my zone that I drew here in the red. We're straight through that. All right, guys, sit tight, be patient. We still got an hour and 12 minutes before this 4 hour candle closes. And this 4 hour candle is what's going to complete the move that we're looking for. So we're going to let these positions ride for an hour. Now let's take a look at this dollar. I don't know if you guys remember, but last week I pointed out that the dollar is extremely bullish on this 4 hour chart, as well as this now. Here's perfect price action. Perfect price action. Look at this high and low of yesterday's candle. As you can see, we have blown the low out of the park here. All right, now if we take this low zone and drag it all the way across, this is what we have. This is a support level. Here we have it as resistance. Breaking through becomes support. This daily candle is currently sitting on that support waiting to burst out. So I can expect this daily candle to close somewhere up here. Now, looking at this daily candle, we look to the left, our next structure is here. Okay, so here looking at the dollar, we can definitely see we're bullish. We're bouncing on this trend line here. We zoom in a little more, look at the hour. We look at the hour, we see just that. All right, now I want you guys to look very closely at this gap in here. As we do our analysis and we spot gaps, those are highly attractive areas there. Okay, we have a gap here, we have a breakout forming. Now we can see a slight trend line down there. Okay, so unless this is the end of this trend and we bounce down, we're gonna break straight up through that like a firecracker. So let's watch and see if we do just that. Break right up through this zone. All right, guys, we got 7 more minutes before this new hour candle opens up. Seven minutes. All right, I just finished rolling this other gas. Now we will be burning on this one's called Mother's Milk. This next blunt we're gonna smoke is Mother's Milk. Next blunt we are gonna smoke together. All right, Mother's Milk is in process for the next hour. Here's that USD CHF somebody asked me about earlier. I definitely do still see a decline there. Now, with the CHF JPY, look, think of it like this: USD CHF up, which means the CHF is slightly weak, right? USD CHF up. That means USD up, CHF down. So if we come over here to CHF JPY, we know CHF is down. Now let's look at the way we would counteract that is looking at USD JPY. Okay. Now, USD CHF is up, which means USD up, CHF down. USD JPY is going to be headed up for the rest of this session. So we have USD up, JPY down. Okay. So that's two pairs with USD. That's two USD bullish. Okay. Now, CHF is bearish and JPY is appearing bearish. So if CHF and JPY are bearish, we're likely to go bearish or consolidate. We're looking at USD CHF and we know both CHF JPY, and we know both CHF and JPY are bearish. We can expect CHF JPY to either also be bearish or to begin moving sideways. Does that make sense with that cross analysis on CHF JPY? Let me know if that cross reference makes sense with the CHF JPY after we have found out that both CHF and JPY are bearish. So we're coming up on the end of this hour. We got 4 minutes left. And I know when I be counting down 4 minutes, 3 minutes, 1 minute, you're like, damn, he's counting down to the T. But yes, that 1 minute could mean all of the difference on your entry. So when I'd say I'm down to the minute, I'm down to the minute and the second on my entries. And it's very important. Three minutes. We got 3 minutes for the next hour candle. 3 minutes. Three minutes. Now, for this next 30 minutes or this next hour, let's observe the action on this USD CHF. With this 30-minute candle closing in 2 minutes. Okay, let's do the 15. This 15-minute as well as the 30-minute closes in 2 minutes. Let's watch the action that happens for the next hour. Okay, I see somebody asked about moving average. Now, I use a different set of moving averages depending on what market condition we're in. But the most basic one you want to use is going to be a 21. Okay, the most basic the moving average you want to use is going to be a 21 exponential moving average. And the reason I say that is because when price is above the moving average, you're just simply looking for newer swing highs. Okay, before any chance of reversal. Same thing when it's below. If it's moving, if price is closing below the moving average, you're going to look for new lows to be formed. So, for example, here, if you look, we are above the 21 moving average. So we will be looking for new highs to close. Okay, so we are looking for new closures up in the hot to form and forming new highs at the same time before we even consider a sell. Okay, here's the 1 minute chart. So let's observe what I just spoke on this 1 minute chart here. As you see, as price is above the 21 moving average, you had to form a peak new swing high before price reverse. Same thing here to the downside. Now these reversal candles are going to be 2 to 3 point reversals on each end of the moving average. 2 point reversal, 2 point reversal, 2 point reversal, 2 point reversal. Let me move this so we can see that euro dropping. Mind you, over here we got the dollar. Right here we got the euro. Here we got the USD CHF. move. There we go. Take a look at the dollar over there. Now, seeing that the dollar is moving and volatile and making a move. Oh, shit. Seeing that the dollar is here making this move now, we should really begin to see that activity again start to spice up on the euro, taking it down, as well as the USD CHF going up. No, the reason I'm focusing more on the USD CHF and the Euro USD and not all of the pairs consisting of USD is because there are other factors in the economy, mainly being price action, that have stopped me from even observing those pairs for today. For example, although we did take a look at Aussie USD and it's still pushing down, I know Aussie USD does not pay out a lot of pips. Okay, so even this move here on Aussie USD is only 20 pips. Okay, from here to TP5. So I wasn't interested in that move. Here on the Euro USD, this move from here to there is still 20 pips. I was more interested in that move because for the simple fact that the Euro and the USD are slightly in play right now. Right now, the Aussie is completely finished. Okay, because the Australian market is completely done with. Nobody. It's probably middle of the night in Australia right now, so nobody over there. There's no money in circulation. The banks aren't moving. Okay, so the only the only currency pair affecting Aussie USD right now is the USD. Okay, so that's why I wasn't too interested in trading or getting in this pair. If we got in up here, that's different. But we're getting in here. Notice like this whole move though, from here to here would be a 50 pips. From 87 to 83 is 40, 50 pips. So that's roughly your daily that you would have wanted to grab for sure. Here on the USD CHF, we're technically doing the same thing. Here at 96.7 to take it to 97. That's about 35 pips. But we have multiple positions, so in all, it's going to be 35 pips times 4. All right, Euro USD. I only took one position, so that's at 9 down to 7. That's going to be 2 pips, 20 pips as well. So in all, I definitely going to grab about 200 pips in total off of these pairs. Now, even if I close right now, I still likely got my 50 pips. Let's see. Okay, so I got about 15 pips on each one of these positions. So that's 15 times 4 right there. That's 60 pips. So I've already technically got my 60 pips, my 50 pips for the day. But we're gonna see. We can go ahead and grab that 100 plus. Even if I was to take profit right now, I would have still made my daily goal. Basically, is what I'm saying. Here's that CHF JPY. Remember, I said we found out that the CHF and the JPY are both in a bearish trend right now, both bearish movement. So we see the CHF JPY moving sideways, and that's due to the strength that's emerging on the dollar. The strength on the dollar, the strength emerging on the dollar is keeping CHF and JPY at bay. What do I mean? I mean simply the USD is the strongest is likely gonna be the strongest pair moving forward for the next few sessions. So everything's paired against the dollar. So the USD will be keeping all other pairs at bay. Most cross pairs will be moving in a consolidation manner, such as GBP, pound Aussie, likely going to be moving sideways. Pound CAD, likely going to be moving sideways. Pound JPY would likely be moving sideways. Euro Aussie likely be moving sideways. For the next few days or the next few sessions, those pairs will likely be moving sideways during the New York session due to the strength on the dollar. Okay, so right now we got about 4 or 5 pips on the Euro USD. Depending on how many positions you took, it's that many pips times your position. I only took one, so I've only got about 4 right now. This is the now the account that I'm using here on this screen throughout the next 60 days is going to be the master account that's connected to the copier. Okay, it started with a base of $200, and we're gonna grow it from there. So far, we are on track to complete the compound on time, ladies and gentlemen. So if you're one of the individuals that are connected to the copier, we are on track. Okay, how do you bring up the dollar by itself? You go in here, file, new chart. It's going to be under features. Not every broker offers the future chart, so it's offered on Hugo's Way for sure. Not a lot of other brokers offer it, but you can see it on the Trading View or Oanda shows it. But what you're gonna do is you're gonna if you don't see it there, you go to View, Symbols. You'll come down here to Futures, and you'll want to make sure you highlight it. Then come in here to New Chart, Futures, and you'll see the dollar. I actually wanted to take a sell here on this Bitcoin, but I didn't. Did not yet, but I did want to take a sell there to meet back at some support level that was previously broke through. But I didn't. I likely probably look at that maybe tomorrow. Because right now I'm really just focused on this USD CHF. That Euro USD was really just a gimme. You can close that at any time, really. You don't even have to worry about letting it get there. I am going to hold it for a while. As you see, it's starting to push down. But anything I get off this Euro USD is cool because my main focus is on this USD CHF. Hence why I have more positions here than I do here. But I do still expect this to continue down. Although at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, I'm just gonna close no matter what and take all profits off the board. As we see, here's the USD CHF moving off, headed up in our favor. Remember, I told you this is the last hour of the 4-hour candle, so this is the hour that we'll see an aggressive move in either direction. All I did here was I just removed all the indicators so you can see it here on a naked chart. I'm gonna pull USD CHF on a naked chart too. So there we have it. As we saw it break through my resistance zone, we could drag this all the way over here and break through this resistance zone. Came back, and now it's bouncing off of this resistance zone. Also look at this 30-minute candle. Remember, I was mentioned earlier about a close of this 4-hour candle. We should see price here up here in the 97 flat area. Ooh. And then we can begin to see this candle here move that way. take a look at this 30-minute candle here. This is definitely continuation bullish price action. All right, guys. If we don't have any more questions, I'm gonna hold these trades until 2 o'clock Eastern. So by 2 o'clock Eastern, 1:30 Eastern, somewhere right in there. Anytime after the 4 hour candle, I'm gonna go ahead and take profit on these trades. Profit that we're on, I'm gonna go ahead and secure that. Due to the simple fact that the amount of trades I took, I've already achieved my 50 pips for the day. So anything extra we get past now will be exceeding the goal. So we'll pick up tomorrow on day 6. And as we wrap up things today, the two trades that I'm in is I'm going to sell for Euro USD and I'm in positions on a USD CHF long. I'm going to close these positions by no later than 2 p.m. Eastern. Anytime after 1 p.m. Eastern is the ideal close time for these trades. So with that being said, happy trading, and let's keep up the good work.